Bobby says, "What's up, Zach? So it looks like after 2 weeks, the Jets are the worst team in football. Let's say they continue on this track and end up with a number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. Do you draft Trevor Lawrence and ditch Sam Darnold? Personally, at this point, I believe that trading the pick for the King's ransom might be the best move. I think the issues are much deeper than QB, and while I do believe Lawrence is a great prospect, I don't think he's going to turn the team around by himself. That's probably true." He continues, he says, "If you trade the pick, you're talking about at minimum having 6 first-round picks in the next 2 years. You can immediately draft positions like wide receiver and or some more linemen, invest in another pick in a solid corner. Those resources would be very enticing for a new coach to want to work with. What do you think?" Bobby says, "Am I a delusional Sam Darnold fan?" So, I guess, should you move on from Sam Darnold and get Trevor Lawrence? I think it's worth considering. I think you should always consider every option you have, and there's nothing wrong with sitting down, talking to Trevor Lawrence, and checking it out, right? I don't see any problem with that. But it also, a huge part of this is something that I, Zach Schaumler, have no access to, unless Sam Darnold wants to call me. My question would be, do the Jets believe in Sam Darnold, right? When they sit down in the room and talk to him, do they believe that he's got an opportunity to get better and move forward in the future? I wish I could be in the room and talk to Sam Darnold, be a part of the Jets this year as they try to evaluate whether or not to stick with him or draft Trevor Lawrence, if they're in a position to maybe do that. Now, the situation with Sam may be unsalvageable. I love Sam Darnold. I'm a big supporter. I feel bad for the guy. I think he's been horribly supported early in his career. But the reality is I would need to talk to Sam Darnold to know, is his confidence still there? Is his confidence shot? Or is Sam Darnold's spirit broken? I mean, what fight will Sam Darnold have left after another abysmal year in New York? I don't know. If there's any reason to doubt Sam Darnold's desire to keep fighting, then I'd move on. But that's something I simply cannot know from my place in Vancouver, Washington. I can't know that. And we can see good stuff on film. I mean, when you watch film of Justin Herbert at Oregon, I went, that's not good. But the reality is that if he works his butt off and has a good attitude and learns a lot and studies really hard, Justin Herbert can still pan out. Like, just because you see something on film doesn't necessarily mean you have access to all the information. And the information I don't have access to is what's Sam Darnold's heart like after this year. My gut says Sam probably. I mean, I watch him play. You see on film the dude's fighting. I think he's still in it so far. And if you can trade a King's ransom for Trevor Lawrence, keep Sam Darnold, get a bunch of pieces around him, that's awesome. Because my fear, too, is, okay, get rid of Sam Darnold. And you get rid of Sam Darnold if he's just hopeless and discouraged and has no confidence, then you got to get rid of him. But how much better off would you be with Trevor Lawrence? Like, yeah, Trevor Lawrence is confident and young, but the roster still got problems. And do you have a new coach? Like, I don't think Trevor Lawrence by himself can save the Jets. I mean, Bobby's totally right with that. So the only reason I would move on from Sam is if his spirit is broken and his confidence is gone and you don't think you can make it work with him anymore.